to today's live chat. Today we'll be celebrating Read a Book Day, which is an annual awareness day to raise awareness of taking a break and to get reading, which happened recently. So there's lots of ways that you can celebrate as a family Read a Book Day, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with your Key Stage 2 age child. There's lots of activities that you can adapt for younger children and that you can include siblings in as well. So perhaps an activity that you would like to start with is a book scavenger hunt. For the scavenger hunt, you will need lots of books so that you can play this at home or even at a library. And for this activity, you'll need a checklist of themes or items that you need to find within books or in the books themselves. So, for example, you could go through and pick out some words like elephants or buses or a witch, and you can try and hunt for those words, both the words and the picture as well. So you could look at restricting your child to only their bookshelf, or with younger children they're likely to find more images than words, so you could set challenges of only finding images or words for certain rounds of the game. And some items might be quicker to find than others, and also if you're restricting it to just bookshelves and it's your lower upper Key Stage 2 aged child's bookshelf, then with them being 9 to 11 years old, then they can practice their skimming and scamming skills that I mentioned on Wednesday, and they'll have a lot more words than pictures in their book, so they might find it a little bit longer to find the word than a younger child who's looking for pictures. And there's lots of things that your Key Stage 2 age child can be exposed to in languages. They might even be learning another language within their school, or they might be doing it as a hobby. And if they are, there's lots of benefits to practicing other languages and reading other languages as well, especially if you're reading out loud. You can practice your pronunciation, your intonation, and formal and informal language is more likely to be heard, and you can find it easier to pick up on if it's formal or informal if you're reading it out loud, especially if it's in another language. So if your child is reading and learning another language, then that is a good idea to have a go at. Reading a book day doesn't also have to include your child's head in a book all day. It might be if you've got a really gripping book, but if you know that your child might be interested in breaking up the day a little bit more, there are other activities that you could do and encourage your child to do, like create a bookmark. So this can also be a great way to link in their artistic skills as well, and a way of becoming responsible for keeping their own place in their book, and knowing what chapter they've gotten to, especially as texts can become bigger in Key Stage 2. If they've got their own bookmark and they've got a lengthier book, they can use this bookmark that they've designed to find their own place. And you could also talk to them about the bookmark, maybe ask them if they are doing a certain theme and if it's related to a book they've read or a book that they are currently reading. Another way that you can encourage your child to read everywhere is to have a little go at going out and about. So I can share a resource with you now if I just pop this on. So this resource is our Out and About resource. So within the resource, there's lots of different types of text that you can encourage your child to read. You can encourage your child to read maps, game instructions, word searches, posters, menus, lots of different things. And there is also shop signs, shopping lists. So when you're out and about, maybe going to the library, you can do this. And this is a great activity for any age. So you can find this resource in the comments, and there is lots of things on there that you can search for, and then also your child might find it useful to talk about that thing that they're currently reading. You might walk past a map for the area that you're in, and you can talk about where you currently are, what is north, east, south or west of it, or you can have the captions on the TV, and you could speak about what is spoken language and what is being put in the brackets or the stars, that is what the character is doing and who that might be beneficial for, and why that is an option to have subtitles on the TV. And you can also have a look at poems, and you can talk about poems being a form of expression. You can look at recipes or jokes or puzzles. There's so many things you can look at, and menus, and you can really talk about the practicality as well of being able to read a menu and why that might be important. So as you're spotting all these different things, going on a computer, looking at an email or looking at a leaflet, you can talk about the benefits of them and why it is important to be able to read them, and how also, especially if it's a shorter sort of text which has only got listed of the menu items like hot chocolate £2, why is that just 2 words? Because you want to find out how much it costs, and then you can also link the money to it as well. So there's so many links to being able to spot and pick up and actually acknowledge that you're reading even when you're not reading a book. Another way of encouraging your child to keep reading is to keep giving them reading incentives. So a reading incentive that you can use, which I can share with you now and we'll also be put in the comments, is a reading bingo card. So if I just share the reading bingo card with you. On this reading bingo card, let me just move it down a little bit. There's lots of different things that your child can tick off as and when they do it. So there's some that is more easier to tick off, like reading in your pajamas. Some that might be circumstantial to you. So if there's a younger sibling, it will be easy to read to someone younger. But if you don't have a younger sibling, that might be a trickier one to get. Reading whilst you eat your breakfast, read to your teddy. There's lots of different things you can tick off, and then also incentivize to your child, like if you get 1 line you get this prize, 2 lines, or a full house. Checking off different reading tasks off the bingo as you go can be a really good reading incentive for your child. You can also compete with other members of the family. And you can either do this, you could view it on a device and make note, or you can print your own and actually physically tick it off. So you can use this reading bingo sheet for Reader Book Day to see if anyone in your family can tick off the whole board, or set yourself different challenges. And you might want to add to it. So maybe you can say you have to read in bed, but you have to also do that consecutively for 20 minutes. And you could talk about what consecutively means. It means without putting it down and doing it for 20 minutes. And then you can tick both of those off, or just tick one off. Really whatever rules you and your family want to set. So there's lots of ways you can use reading bingo. It's also great to broaden your child's way of reading. It might encourage them to read in a different way, or pick up a book that they wouldn't usually go for, or read in a different place to usual. Comprehension is also really important when reading. So comprehension is the ability to understand something, and in this case it's the ability to understand text. And there are lots of things that you can do at home to help your child improve their comprehension and reading skills. So just discussing the wide range of texts that they probably have already read, or what they are going to read, the most recent book they have read, will allow your child to see, and will allow you to see what your child already knows. So it will allow your child to recall it, and you will then understand more what your child has picked up from the book. And you will also find out what they have taken interest in. And there's lots of questions that will then stem from encouraging this conversation with your child, and might even encourage your child to read. And you could see if there's other adaptations of the book, maybe been made into films or plays or musicals, for example, for you and your family to watch, or if there's any sequels that your child might like to read, or if there's any books that they didn't enjoy, you could talk about why they didn't enjoy it, and maybe pick out the reasons why, and then find the alternative. Or maybe you'd find this book interesting because it includes more of this and less of this. So finding out their favourite character in the adaptation can also give you suggestions to activities you can do around that character, with drawing them out, labelling their feelings to talk about feelings and emotions, or create a comic strip or a book review. So there really is an endless amount of possibilities there for ways you can explore what your child is interested in. So I hope you have found today's live useful. If you do have a child who is in the early years, or you want to find out more about Reader Book Day, Amy did a live this morning, which you'll be able to find on Reader Book Day as well. So you can go and give that a watch if you're interested on any more activities and ideas, especially if your child is in the early years. And remember, any questions, do pop them in the comments and we will get back to you. And if you do want to join me for next week's lives, there is lots of lives, or the whole week is a money focused week. So I'll be focusing on how you can help your child's understanding of money, how you can help your child to learn about money, and also think about budgeting and managing money as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing you then.